this is Captov. My name is Michael McCullough. Have you ever wondered what servant leadership is? Well, today we're going to try to unpack this a little bit, understand a bit of its history, and contrast it with command and control, something we talked about in an earlier video. So where does the term servant leadership come from? Well, its history starts with Toyota in Japan. Now, when Toyota was looking to move to North America or start operations in North America, they were looking for a term that reflected the leadership style they'd established at Toyota in Japan. And servant leader fit the bill. Now, in the late 80s, early 90s, there was also a lot of focus on lean in North America as people were looking at Toyota and Japan and the manufacturing strength that they had and the risks that people viewed, when they looked at North American industries. Now, this is actually around the same time in the early 90s when a lot of lightweight methodologies like Scrum and XP were starting to emerge. Now, Jeff Sutherland, one of the founders of Scrum, was actually inspired by the Toyota model, and this is where you will see servant leadership and self-organization reflected in Scrum. Now, how does servant leadership differ from command and control? Well, if we look at command and control, the leader's job or the manager's job is to direct the team on the tasks they need to do. So giving work, telling people what to do so that it delivers product. In addition to this, the leader's job is to be giving direction on how to improve, for looking for ways for the individual person to become better at what they do. In addition, that leader's job is looking at how that work activity fits in with other work activities and looking at ways to improve those. Now, to contrast it, let's look at servant leadership, where the leader's job is very different. Now, what you're doing is you're developing the people, the team, and the environment so that the people who are there doing the work on the ground, when they're given a goal, they're able to figure out how to produce. You're also setting up an environment where that team is looking continually at how they can become better at delivering whatever it is they're delivering, whatever goal it is that comes into the team or the individual. On top of that, they're also building awareness of the other people and teams and groups that they're working with so that they can work together to actually become better at what they do together. Essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to teach and enable a group and people in a healthy environment to actually become great at delivering product and getting really better together at how they do it. Now, so what does a servant leader do? Well, first off, you're setting a tone. You're trying to create an environment where it's safe for people to collaborate together, where ideas can be put forward, where it's okay to be getting better. In other words, it's okay to have things that people are working on. In other words, showing a little bit of weakness in where we're at today, but constantly trying to work hard, introducing discipline on how to get better. You're also, a very important role is establishing boundary and rules. A lot of companies I see, or a lot of leaders I'll see, sometimes feel like self-organization means they simply tell people, hey, you're self-empowered now, you can do whatever you need to do. This doesn't work though, because what a team needs, or what an individual needs, they need to understand, well, within what context do I actually self-organize, or am I self-empowered? So the team needs to understand what is the boundary, right, under which they can operate. So where's our decision making? And within here, how do we work? On top of that, have an appreciation for those groups outside of the team, so they understand how their workflow, contributes to someone else's, and up and down and laterally. It's very important that teams start to understand this and build bridges and ability to improve together. Another key characteristic of a servant leader is developing more leaders. In the Toyota model, incidentally, that's one of the key parts of it. It's not always reflected in Scrum, but it's really servant leadership. It is important that the leaders are developing more leaders. Finally, it's inspiring your team to pursue goals, and pursuing goals that are driving towards not only delivery of product, how do we deliver the best product for our customers, but also how do we get better? How do we continually become the best team possible? So what skills do you need to develop in yourself to enhance your servant leadership capabilities? Well, at the outset, start thinking about skills around developing people. Think about skills around mentoring, coaching, teaching. This is a lot about enabling individuals and teams and groups to work together in a healthy, collaborative way. Think also about communication. Communication and building a sense of connectedness amongst the team. You want the team feeling that collaboration is vital and that they're constantly looking to contribute to become better, and it's a rewarding experience for them as well for you. Finally, developing presence. So coming in and setting a tone of vulnerability sometimes, but setting also a tone that demands excellence and a tone that inspires. It's a tone that enables teams to feel that they are connected, but they're also feeling like they're involved in something that matters. Now, where do you get started? Well, a lot of organizations I've seen, they'll start with the development teams or the people doing delivery, and they'll focus on self-organization, servant leadership there. And this is a mistake. The reality is servant leadership, as defined by Toyota, but also in practice, is meant to work in a way that is aligned all the way to the top. And the only way to build that type of alignment is to start at the top. You can't start at the bottom and work your way up. You need to start at the top and enable servant leadership there. That servant leadership developing each layer below, and each subsequent layer develops the layer below it, so that you can create alignment and a culture that enables servant leadership, but also enables teams and self-organization to thrive. Now, another thing to look at is your organizational structures. If your organizational structure is very siloed and it's very much based on activities people do versus when teams come together to deliver value, that's another area that you may need to look at, because you may end up with disconnects in terms of what teams are doing. If you're trying to create a group that's working on delivering value together, that's harder if it's a group that's focused strictly on one activity in a value stream. Another thing to look at is how much leadership or management you have. Now, this is actually a side effect of command and control, is excessive management. You actually need much more, because the people who are doing the work, they need to be kept aligned whenever change occurs. So I need many more people who can be directing traffic or directing tasks down the line. So you may be looking at trying to experiment with a lighter management approach or a lighter management structure when you first try this out, maybe in a pilot. Finally, take a class. Take a class. Professional Scrum Master certification is a great class that focuses really on servant leadership. I would highly recommend that class to anyone who's looking to introduce servant leadership into their organization. Thank you for watching. As we continue this video series on Agile leadership, we'll continue to add more videos that focus on other additional topics around what leadership looks like with Agile. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, to like, and add a comment. Thank you for watching Capped Off today. Please remember to subscribe, like, and add a comment below.